Hello, hello. This is Kasia Rachfall. Welcome to another mini episode of Inside Out Powerful. Today, I want to talk about how to give yourself permission to let go of blocks. So, this tip comes from a recent conversation I had with a friend, and we were talking about how we like to get attached to the story that we think is surrounds any sort of block that we think we have, whether it's a personal block, a professional block, or somewhere we feel stuck with. We tend to get into this place of, if I knew the lesson that this block is supposed to teach me, if I could consciously figure that out, then it would be easier to let this block go. So I'm going to talk about that today. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Kasia Rachfall. I work as an intuitive coach and healer and artist with women who are ready to let go of the generational patterns of their past and really step into self-acceptance. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining me. So how do we give ourselves permission? Well, let's talk about, first of all, where that permission comes from. So whenever we feel like we have a block, whether it's, again, a personal block or a professional block in our life, we feel stuck, we get attached to or at least I've definitely done this, we get attached to wanting to know why it's there, right? Why is this block here? If I just knew the story behind it, why it's here, then that would give me the permission to let it go. And I have definitely gotten caught in this web of wanting to know why. And so I was chatting with my girlfriend about this recently, and she brought in this interesting idea of, well, what does knowing why actually give you? And that's where the permission piece comes in, right? Because it gives us that understanding. It gives us that conscious knowing of, okay, this is what I'm supposed to learn. This is what I think I should know. Now I can let it go, right? So the story, the why, gives us the permission to then get closure from that block and release it. Now, this can be a catch-22 because yes, it's great to know the story. It's great to know, okay, yep, got it. Now I can tick that lesson off my list. But it can also become an addiction of seeking and searching. And I can tell you, this is where I have gotten stuck before, sometimes for very long periods of time, where instead of simply giving myself the permission to live my life anyway, right, in spite of this block, or do whatever I can to create and become the person who has, experiences all the things that I want, I would get stuck looking for this block and put everything else on hold, right? Not looking for the block, looking for the story, the why behind the block, and put everything else on hold. And of course, what does that do? It sends us around in circles. So the way that you can give yourself permission to let go is simply trust that as you do the things that you would do if you didn't have this block, as you become the woman who you can be without having this in your life, that lesson will reveal itself to you, right? So it's, again, you're not faking it. You're not faking the fact that you don't have this in your life. You're simply acknowledging that it's there, and that whenever the opportunity arises to work on it, you work on it, but you don't obsess and you don't devote your life to digging out whatever that lesson is. It gives that sense of relief of, this thing isn't who I am. It's simply something that is in my life. It's part of my life, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to trust that by becoming the biggest version of myself, by loving myself, trusting myself as much as I can, and taking the actions and having the feelings that I want, eventually I'll probably get the lesson, but I'm not going to let that block stop me. And so that's where you simply choose to give yourself the permission to live your life without it. Even though it's there, you can choose. And sometimes it takes a moment by moment choice, right? Some days it's really easy to feel like, that thing isn't even there, so I just don't even give it a second thought. And some days it's hard, and that's okay. That's okay. The days that it's hard don't mean anything other than you just got to choose more often, right? You just got to remind yourself and choose more often. So let me know what you think. Let me know how this resonates. If you are watching the replay, thank you so much for being here, for hanging out with me, even though we weren't on at the same time. Leave me a comment, and if you feel like there's someone in your life who needs to hear this, please tag them or share the video. I would really, really appreciate it. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend.